The show is about to start. Buckle up, 'cause here we go.
What you know you can't explain. But you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong. You don't know what it is, but it's there. Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. Experience the awakening. Brilliant anonymous researchers. Patriots, join us in the Patriot Army. Trust the plan, pain coming. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. RedStateTalkRadio.com, Brighteon.tv, Rumble.com/MG Show. The end won't be for everyone. That choice to know will be yours. Where we go one, we go all. Fight. Fight, 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 and fight we will. We fight every day right here on the MG Show. Welcome to the MG Show, where we are actually on YouTube as well. YouTube.com/InTheMatrix with 3 X's. That's In the Matrix with 3 X's. We got our channel back. We're on Rumble.com/MG Show. We're on Facebook, MGShow.link/JeffFB. You can get straight to there over there. And I hope you're sharing the show. I mean, you know, and we're also on X, x.com/InTheMatrix with 3 X's or x.com/ShadyGroove with 3 O's. That's a lot of X's and O's, Shady.
That's a lot of love, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here on this wonderful Tuesday. Another day and another step towards the inevitable. What did we tell you would occur? And why is it that, you know, the underlying reason that this show exists has not been discovered yet? Because what we are seeing and what we are currently uncovering is one of the most unbelievable operations against Donald Trump yet. You thought Russia was bad. Wait till you see what they're cooking up now.
We got Epstein now, Shady Groove.
Oh yeah, boy, they're really trying to, like, you know, they're trying to throw all the spaghetti at the cabinet door to see if it'll stick yet.
Spaghettis. Mm-hmm. Spaghettis. Oh, you got to see this. This was really funny, Shady Groove. Donald Trump snaps at a female reporter who asked about the Epstein file and said, "Quiet, piggy." And we got a picture of her. Check it out.
You're going to find out what did he know with respect to Bill Clinton, with respect to the head of Harvard, with respect to all of those people that he knew, including J.P. Morgan Chase.
Sir,
Yeah, Jennifer,
there's nothing incriminating in the file, sir,
Quiet, Piggy.
And that's what she looks like. I mean, the resemblance is uncanny.
I mean, it's that. I saw that just like 15 minutes ago. I'm like, no way, that's really who it was. No wonder he called her Biggie. Wow. That was almost the thumbnail today. We nearly averted it.
Oh, my God, Yeti. Between him and his nose clearing and that meme that he was going to do. Oh, look. Oh, my God.
We were working overtime this morning.
You know, and I wonder why I have hypertension.
It's because of our friendship.
That's right. YouTube works the best. Rumble is slow, stopping all the time, and X is slow. Thank you, Tom Cody. I'm glad you're here. Mark Hulk is over there. Boom, boom, boom. We got Poussant over there. Lelig's over there. Liberty's over there. Mike Legre. I hope you said your name right. Philip Proffer is out there. Nullset is out there with us. Jennifer Martinez on the YouTubes. Cambria is out there as number 1. She's got the crown. Hetty Bardou's got number 3. And Garden Gnome has number 2. No, Poussant has taken the lead. She was 3, now she's 2.
Wow, look at us over there on YouTube.
So if you're on Rumble, please go over to YouTube, like the video, make a comment, help us get us in the algorithms. We're trying to grow that as well. Somebody's saying X went down, but I don't know. That's great.
Things are shaky out there today.
Yep. Well, X went down last night. Yes, we understand that. And Shady was saying, hey, the Simpsons episode on the 17th of September, 17th of November 2025, they said that there's going to be an internet outage.
And then there turned out to be an internet outage.
Who knew? And it also hit, I think, blackout. Didn't it hit blackout too? I'd have to look at the deltas today, but interesting. But Johnson, let's understand what is going on here, right? We've got the Cloudflare issue. Yes, that did happen. It affected Truth Social. It affected many websites, X. And all of it, Telegram, because it was Cloudflare, guys, and that they have a lot of power in the internet, right? But I've always worked in Cisco system, and I can't believe X having their own multiple data centers went down because in Cisco and data center terms, we like to be the 5 nines, Shady Groove. The 5 nines are 99.999% uptime. Well, you failed, X. Yikes. So yeah, we just like to make sure if you guys need any Cisco systems, just give me a call. I'm sure I can hook you up with some good people. So we got Johnson speaking ahead of the Epstein vote today. We've got that. We've got Donald J. Trump here to participate in a meeting shortly with the Saudi Arabia crown prince. Okay, we'll go to that when it happens. But I want to start off with Johnson speaking ahead of the Epstein House vote. Now, you need to understand what he says. He's showing you what the concerns are on this vote, even though they're going to vote for it. Okay. Are you ready, Shady?
I'm ready. I have not seen this yet. I am interested.
All right, let's go.
Why this vote is happening right now. First, a quick review of the relevant history here. For 4 long years under the previous administration, under the Biden-Harris administration, Democrats insisted there was no border crisis. Remember, they told you that that wasn't a problem at all. They dismissed inflation as transitory. That's what they told us. They told the American people not to believe what we could all see with our own eyes, that there was an obvious mental and physical decline on the part of President Biden individually. And now, seemingly overnight, these same cast of characters, they've taken a sudden and urgent interest in the Epstein investigation. Suddenly, it's all in the name of transparency. That's what they're trying to tell us. But the truth is, the biggest proponents of this discharge petition were never actually interested in transparency or ensuring justice or protecting victims of this unspeakable tragedy, the Epstein evils. And how do we know that? Because the Democrats had every one of the Epstein files in their possession for the 4 long years of the Biden administration. The Biden Department of Justice had the files the entire time. And not a single one of the people who are so loud and animated right now, they never said anything about it for all those 4 years. None of them held press conferences. None of them demanded the release of the documents. And under Biden's DOJ, when they prosecuted just Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, not a single one of these Democrats or any of the proponents of the discharge ever made any noise about that at all. So it's fair for the American people to ask the question, why now? Why suddenly are they so interested? They have such an urgent interest in the Jeffrey Epstein matter. The truth is simple and straightforward and obvious for anyone who is willing to look at it objectively. Clearly, this is a political exercise for Democrats and a few others, sadly, and it is as deceitful and dishonest as their pointless stunt to shut down the government. Same ideology behind this. Democrats are trying to use the Epstein matter as a political weapon to distract from their own party's failures. And in a desperate attempt, they're trying to somehow tie President Trump to the scandal. President Trump has nothing to do with it. He has said himself he has nothing to hide. And that's clearly what they've been trying to do. They're trying to attack President Trump. This is what they've done. They weaponize the justice system over the last several years to go after him, and this is their latest attempt. And they don't have a platform or a principle to defend on the Democrat Party side, so they put all their eggs in this basket. And that's why you hear endlessly about Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. Everything's about Epstein. Now, this was an unspeakable tragedy, we said that. And we have great compassion for the victims. And I'm heartened that I met with the victims. Our House Oversight Committee members met with the victims, and they deserve justice. It has been too long delayed. Not just justice for what they were made to endure, but also we need answers on why it took so long for the Department of Justice itself to do that job under previous leadership. Republicans, meanwhile, are working in earnest to deliver transparency to the American people, and we're working to do that in a responsible manner that does no further harm to these innocent people and the victims who have been wrapped into this. There are a few key facts here that everybody needs to understand. First, I mentioned the House Oversight Committee doing its work. That is a bipartisan effort. They are already producing far more than the discharge petition even anticipates. Chairman Comer is our chair of oversight. Some of the biggest bulldogs in Congress serve on that committee, you all know, and I've mentioned this so many times. They have been, on the Republican and Democrat side, they're deeply dug in. They've been working around the clock. They worked even through the government shutdown, and there were tranches of documents that were released even over that period. So far, by last count, it's over 65,000 documents, Epstein file documents, that are now out in the public for everyone to review. That includes tens of thousands of pages from the Epstein estate. And that includes Epstein's flight logs, his personal financial records and ledgers, his daily calendars, and so much more. And none of that is even written or included in the discharge petition. So in other words, the Oversight Committee is doing far more than the discharge even anticipates, and the most valuable information thus far has come from the Epstein estate files. That was produced because of the work of the Oversight Committee that is doing that in a professional, robust manner, using the full subpoena authority of the U.S. Congress. From the very beginning, our side has been insistent that this matter must be handled very carefully with utmost caution and care for the victims. We want maximum transparency. We have always been about that. We want every single person who had any scintilla of evidence that they were involved in the Epstein evils, they need to be brought to justice, and it should have been done a long time ago. We need to find out who those people are. But in the meantime, you have to remember there are real people's, innocent people's lives at stake here, and young victims who don't want to be dragged into this political game because it could hurt further what they've already endured. They would be made to suffer more harm if Congress is not careful in what we're doing. And unlike our very important work that's underway in the House Oversight Committee, the Democrat-led discharge petition would carelessly dump thousands of documents without proper protections for the innocent. I brought a chart in here this morning. I want to illustrate for you what we are concerned with. Now, I was a federal court litigator. The members of our House Judiciary Committee, Republicans in particular, have many of these concerns. You have Chairman Jim Jordan and attorneys like Chip Roy, who's running for Attorney General of Texas now. You have Brad Knott, who's a former federal prosecutor, many members on the committee. Andy Biggs is running for governor of Arizona. They're lawyers, and they understand that the way the discharge petition was drafted is haphazard and dangerous. This is why we have been opposed to this point. Okay, and I could be here for a long time going through all the details of it, but the big concern we've all had all along is that the House bill, if it's passed in its current form and it was signed into law, it is dangerously flawed. And our problem and our frustration is there's no way for us in the House to amend it or correct these problems because the authors of the discharge will not allow it. And that's one of our great frustrations. Let me just very quickly, we have a legal document that the lawyers, we have all drafted to explain all this, but let me give you five quick, maybe the top five concerns about it, and there are more. But as drafted, the discharge petition, it fails to fully protect victim privacy. I'm going to read you an excerpt out of our legal document we put together to explain all this. Congress should give the Attorney General broader authority to redact all the victim information. The discharge doesn't do that. This would prevent the release of information that could be used to unmask victims who have chosen to remain anonymous. Now, you have some very brave women who have come forward and put their names and faces out there and done press conferences and explained that justice is overdue, and our hearts go out to them, and they are heroes. But you have as many as 1,000 women, by some of the accounts, who may be caught up in this. And the vast majority of them have not come forward, probably for obvious reasons. They don't want to be unmasked. But the discharge petition doesn't have adequate protections. It risks re-victimizing those who were trafficked and exploited. And the courts have recognized this concern, by the way. I'll read you a quick excerpt. On August 20th of this year, Judge Richard Berman of the Southern District of New York issued an order denying the DOJ's request to release Epstein grand jury materials, noting, quote, names and identifying information of victims appear in the subject materials, unquote. Judge Berman then quoted a letter related to the victims' concerns, which stated the following, quote, transparency cannot come at the expense of the very people whom the justice system is sworn to protect, unquote. And importantly, the judge quoted a letter from one of the victims. In the proceedings, she is named as Jane Doe 2. She said this is one of the victims, quote, I beg the court to make sure it is of the utmost priority that in any sort of release, all and every detail that could possibly reveal our identities be redacted. The victims of Epstein's evils deserve that protection, and the discharge does not currently provide it. Okay? Number two, the discharge petition could create new victims, okay? Because it requires the DOJ to release information even in cases where the DOJ or the FBI has already reviewed it and determined it is not credible. It is false information. Doing this and requiring this to come out could ruin the reputations of completely innocent people, such as those who have may just have known Epstein but knew nothing of his crimes, or whose names he exploited. Think of this, innocent people whose names he exploited and used to try to get close to his intended victims. Their names may be in these files, and they had nothing to do with this. And so by just haphazardly releasing it, you're going to destroy their reputations. Releasing information containing the names of innocent people would subject those innocent people to a guilt by association. It would create an entirely new group of victims who have no means to clear their names. That's a concern of Congress, and it should be. It should be. Number three, the discharge in its current form fails to prohibit the release of child sexual abuse materials. That is a term of art. It's called CSAM, okay? It's defined in the U.S. Code. The discharge is so haphazardly written, because remember, it's just a political exercise for these guys. They don't seem to care about this, but they cited the wrong section of the U.S. Code. So when they say that we don't want child pornography to come out, child sexual abuse materials, of course, we don't want that released. They wrote this thing so quickly that they cited the wrong section. So you know what that means? It means that it doesn't really bestow any real legal authority on the Attorney General to redact those materials. And that would compel the DOJ to release that stuff into the public. Every single person in this room knows that's wrong, and you should stand against it. But that's what the discharge says. Number four, it jeopardizes the future federal investigations of the United States. Why? Because the discharge only allows the Attorney General to redact limited portions of records that could publicly identify individuals who were promised confidentiality. In this scenario, you're talking about whistleblowers, you're talking about confidential informants who came forward and gave information and evidence in exchange for agreeing to have their identities not revealed. Violating confidentiality, imagine the chilling effect that would have on future investigations. Who's going to want to come forward if they think Congress can take a political exercise and reveal their identities? Who's going to come talk to prosecutors? It's very dangerous. It would deter future whistleblowers and informants. And the release of that could also publicly reveal the identity, by the way, of undercover law enforcement officers who are working in future operations. Dangerous stuff, and they seem not to care. And by the way, I'm going to remind you again, we went to the authors. We asked the authors of the discharge to change this, and they said jump in the Potomac. All right? Number five, national security concerns, okay? The discharge requires the Attorney General to release within 30 days, quote, classified information to the maximum extent possible. This ignores the principle that declassification should always rest, and always has rested, with the agency that originated the intelligence. Why? So that they can protect their critical sources and methods. It is incredibly dangerous to demand that officials or employees of the DOJ declassify materials that originated in other agencies, in intelligence agencies. I could go on. I won't be here all morning, but there's a lot of problems. There's also a lot of legal scholars, and I'm among them, who are concerned that that you've got problems with grand jury secrecy. We know Rule 6E of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure prohibits the release of grand jury materials, but the way the discharge is drafted You can make an argument that it requires all that to come out, and that is a serious problem. Grand juries are not adversarial, okay? There's no opportunity there for cross-examination. You can't disprove evidence. You can't challenge the evidence in any way. And if Congress goes in and breaks that seal and just starts releasing sensitive grand jury materials and allegations like that, it raises a risk that the grand jury process will be politicized in the future. And that's a whole other danger that we could talk about all day. I'm gonna wrap this up and just say that Republicans support maximum transparency. We always have. The President of the United States supports maximum transparency. You've heard him say it in his own words. But he has had the same concerns that I've just articulated here, and we've talked about that. All of us have had these concerns, and we understand that we have a responsibility to innocent people and victims that is not properly guarded by the discharge petition. And that's why we're so incensed about that. We've got to make sure that we disclose the names of anybody who aided or conspired in any way with Jeffrey Epstein. But at the same time, you've got to make sure that innocent people are protected. So we have to do this in a way that doesn't violate victim privacy, that doesn't create new victims, that doesn't disclose the names of any whistleblower or informant, that causes the release of grand jury materials or child sexual abuse materials, or undermines our national security. And I think everybody of good conscience and common sense would say, of course you have to do that. But here we are. So the discharge petition got its 218th signature, and it is going to go forward. It is going to pass because it only takes 218. And we know that the Democrats have disregarded all these concerns, and they're going to move it forward anyway. So all the people of good conscience here say, we've registered our concerns. We stated our opposition as long as possible, but we're also for maximum transparency. So what am I to do as a leader in a situation like this? I call my counterpart in the Senate, Leader Thune, and I talked him through this with him and shared our deep concerns. And of course, they share those concerns as well. And so I'm very confident that when this moves forward in the process, if and when it is processed in the Senate, which there's no certainty that that will be, that they will take the time methodically to do what we have not been allowed to do in the House, to amend this discharge petition and to make sure these protections are there. The authors of the discharge did not allow us to do that here. That's the rules here. But in the Senate, they can correct it. So under that circumstance, because of that, we know there's serious deficiencies. We know that the work of our colleagues in the Senate can address that and will. They're very conscientious and concerned, as we are, about all this. As we've insisted from the very beginning, Republicans are the only party trying to make a material difference in ensuring maximum transparency. Oh, by the way, I'll just tell you, I put the bill on the floor for unanimous consent last Wednesday night. And guess who objected to it? The Democrats, okay? If this is so urgent and they were so concerned about getting this done and seeing justice be done and all that, they would not have blocked the request, okay? This is about politics. They blocked our unanimous consent motion to expedite their bill and made us waste all this additional time so they could have a show vote today. Republicans are ready to get the job done, to move forward so we can continue to get on to these important issues of dealing with what the American people demand and deserve for us to deal with. And so I want to leave you with this thought. Everybody should think long and hard about
So you hear the issues there, guys? You see, it's a show vote, okay? The Democrats aren't really interested. I mean, Biden should have released it, right? Under his administration. They've had it. They've had it in the same files. The same files are sitting there since the Biden administration. And the committee, Shady Grove, has released more than what they're going to get out of this vote today. And the Democrats didn't want to advance the vote. It's crazy.
So I'm so glad that we played that, because boy, did that fill in some gaps for me. And I think that I can simplify this for everybody pretty easily, actually. The punishment is the process, right? Don't we already understand that? Like every time they go after Donald Trump, the punishment is the process. And so here you see that perfectly on display, the psychological operation on full display here. This bill, I just went through, made sure I was right. This bill was sponsored by Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie. Ro Khanna is a Democrat. Thomas Massie sponsored the bill. So
he's a Democrat too. Oh, wait,
no. So whenever you talk about who sponsored, what did he just say there? The authors of the bill. Who are the authors of the bill? He said, we took these complaints back to the authors of the bill, and they told us to, quote, jump in the Potomac.
Yeah.
Okay, that's Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna. Okay, those are the two people he's talking about. So right here, you see the psyop. You see the immovable object that they're creating right now. They're creating an immovable object so that they can psyop the whole country, or everybody on X at least, over all of this nonsense to do with Jeffrey Epstein.
That's right.
What does it mean? Think about it for a second. How could they possibly have this stuff in the bill? They think that they could make this. They think they could create a bill that will never pass. Think about it. Look at what you're looking at. Why would they not correct these things? Why do they not correct something that's going to release child pornography into the public arena? Why would they not stop something that's going to insinuate people that have nothing to do with Epstein, have nothing to do with anything? There is no list. Nobody's talked about a list. There is no list. There's associations with Epstein, people that he talked to, people that he did business with. But right here, you see, remember we said the hooks. Who's got their hooks into Massey? The Flynn Network. The Flynn Network is who is puppeting Thomas Massey. The Alex Jones Network is who's puppeting Thomas Massey. All of these people like Ian Carroll, Candace Owens, Hodgkins twins, all of these people, like this is their hero. Thomas Massey is their proverbial god right now to take down Trump. That's what they think they're going to do with all of this nonsense. And go ahead.
The thing is the Dems the entire time know that Epstein is one of their own. They were directly texting him. We showed Stacey Plaskett being texted by Jeffrey Epstein. The entire smear campaign against Trump, Shady Groove. I mean, this is a psychological projection. It's an operation, and they are preemptively accusing Trump of what they themselves are guilty of, Shady.
What Thomas Massey is trying to do is they're trying to separate MAGA and America First. Okay, so what Thomas Massey is doing is they're trying to engineer a divide within MAGA so that they can splinter off, just like they used to do to all the groups in Discord. Yep. It's no different than that. That's exactly what they're doing.
And exactly right, because MTG went out and basically said that Trump is the one with treason because he's interacting with other states. Now, we do have President Trump live participating in a bilateral meeting with the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. We're going to go live to that right now, Shady.
All right.
Here we go. Like a boss.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. We have a extremely respected man in the Oval Office today, and a friend of mine for a long time, a very good friend of mine. And I'm very proud of the job he's done. What he's done is incredible in terms of human rights and everything else. And he's the Crown Prince, the future king, and I just want to pay my greatest respect to your father, King, who is an amazing man. I met him early on. He greeted me at the airport at an age that was pretty high up there, and it was about 117 degrees, and he was standing on the red carpet as I came out of the plane.
117!
And, he's amazing. And when I met his brilliant son, it was at the Oval Office. Shortly thereafter, you came in representing the country, and I called the father. I said, "This guy is fantastic." And I don't know if that helped you or hurt you, but obviously it couldn't have hurt too much, because here you are, right? But we had a great meeting, and the office has changed quite a bit, and we inherited a mess. You actually told me you thought the country was in big trouble. I'm not going to use the exact word that you use. I refuse to say that you thought our country was dead a year and a half, 2 years ago, but our country was in trouble, and now we have the hottest country in the world. You said that also. And we do. We have the United States is right now the hottest country in the world. And between the tariffs and the election, November 5th election, we've done things that nobody can believe. $21 trillion will be the amount invested in the United States or committed to invest in 1 year. So I'm here 9 months. We're up to almost $18 trillion. Biden, as an example, the Biden administration, if you call it that, it's not to me, it was the Biden lack of administration. There were less than $1 trillion for 4 years. We're going to be $21 trillion for 1 year. I think that's hard to believe. The biggest in history was a certain country, $3 trillion. We're going to be $21 trillion. On top of that, prices are coming down. We inherited a mess with high prices, the worst inflation in the history of our country. We had inflation that was a single full 4 years, the worst inflation in the history of the United States. Gas prices through the roof, and that's after destroying our petroleum reserve, which was meant for wars and big emergencies, not to try and win an election. They opened up the reserve so that people get $3 less in gasoline, and it didn't work. They got about 3 cents less, because as big as those reserves are, they're peanuts when you're talking about that kind of traffic. And we're rebuilding the reserves. We're doing all of this, and we've done a job. We're also bringing down prices very substantially, and we've already brought them down very, very substantially. Gasoline is way down. I think you'll be seeing $2 gasoline, but we're now at $2.50, $2.45. Some are lower than that. It was $4.50, $5, $6, $3.50, $3.75. Under Biden, all different numbers, but way high. And we have energy way down. But the biggest thing to me, because I know what it means in jobs, is the fact that we're at over $17 trillion, Scott, and we expect to be around $20, $21 trillion in 1 year. And that's many times bigger than in history. The highest number was $3 trillion. And we're going to be at 21 trillion. That means new plants, new AI, new auto plants. We have auto plants coming in from Canada, from Mexico, from Germany, from Japan. Toyota just agreed to invest $10 billion on new auto plants, all American workers. We've never been in a position like this. You can go back to the beginning. Our country has never been in a position like this. And it really is because of the fact that we use tariffs to bring all this money in. And you're going to see the results in a year when these plants start to open up. We have more plants under construction now than at any time in the history of our country. And these are big plants. These are the biggest plants anywhere in the world. And I want to thank you because you've agreed to invest $600 billion into the United States. And because he's my friend, he might make it $1 trillion, but I'm going to have to work on him. But it's 600. We can count on 600 billion, but that number could go up a little bit higher, yes, or I don't know, we'll see. But we appreciate it very much. So Saudi is going to be investing at least $600 billion, and that means investments in plants, in companies, money on Wall Street, and what it really means for everybody that really counts is jobs, a lot of jobs. We have a lot of jobs. So I just want to thank you. We've been really good friends for a long period of time. We've always been on the same side of every issue. I think we've done a great job in wiping out the nuclear capacity of Iran. Nobody else could have done that. No other president would have done it. We had the pilots in the Oval Office right here. We were celebrating a very successful attack. So I had them in with that beautiful B-2 bomber that's over there. And they said, sir, for 22 years, we practiced this attack. Our predecessors, these were very young guys, so 22 years, they said our predecessors and us practiced the attack on Iran. But no president ever gave us the go-ahead. 3 times a year they went out and they practiced the attack. Nobody let us do it until you came along, and I let them do it because it was the right thing to do. You can't have a nuclear Iran. And so we put you in a very good position. But I just want to say it's an honor to be your friend, and it's an honor that you're here. And if you'd like to say a few words, but thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. This relation has been a relation for about 9 decades, and we've been working together for a long time. But today it's a very important time in our history because there's also a lot of things that we're working in the future. We believe in the future of America. We believe in what you're doing, Mr. President, is really creating a lot of good things and good foundation to create more economic growth, more business in America, and it will also your work for the world peace. I believe, Mr. President, today and tomorrow we're going to announce that we are going to increase that $600 billion to almost $1 trillion of investment, real investment and real opportunity by details in many areas. And the agreement that we are signing today in many areas in technology, in AI, in rare materials, magnet, etc., that will create a lot of investment opportunities.
So you are doing that now. You're saying to me now that the 600 billion will be 1 trillion.
Definitely, because what we are signing to facilitate that.
Maybe 1.2 trillion.
I like that very much. No, that's great. I appreciate that. That's great.
I love it when he
No,
does
we're
it.
doing numbers that nobody's ever done. And in all fairness, if you didn't see potential in the U.S., you wouldn't be doing that.
Definitely.
You don't want to lose money.
As you said, Mr. President, it's the most hottest country in the planet. But what you're creating is not about opportunity today. It's about also long-term opportunity in of America that will affect American economy positively in the next coming decades. Preparing the right foundation of emerging technologies, that's a game changer for America in a good way, and we want to be part of it.
Yeah, we're doing really well. And this, you don't see what we're doing so much because we have, although the construction industry sees it. If you look at Caterpillar, who's been incredible, the tractors, everything else, the numbers that we're doing in construction are unbelievable. Some of the plants that we're building, AI, and they're building their own electric with the plant. I gave them the right to build their own electric with the plant because no country, frankly, will have this. China's working very hard to produce enough electric, but we're beating China substantially at AI, which is a big thing. And we had a great meeting 2 weeks ago with President Xi, but on AI, we're doing well. And I have a man, David Rommel.
Yes, sir.
David, could you say a few words about what you're seeing on the job front and all of the some of the assets, and also how we've been helped by the Saudis in terms of the kind of investment they've made, please.
Yeah, most certainly. Thank you for the opportunity. I am a facility leader for GE Vernova, and if you look at the landscape for GE Vernova investment, over $750 million in the U.S. focused on true manufacturing jobs here stateside. We're looking at tripling the output of our Greenville, South Carolina facility, where we make the gas turbines that are supporting U.S. needs as well as the Saudi Arabian needs.
Right.
So real jobs, $300 million in gas investment, resulting in over 500 pieces of new equipment being installed in the Greenville, South Carolina facility. That translates into roughly 1,800 jobs across the board for GE Vernova as we try to scale capacity to be able to meet this demand. Along with that, we're partnering with local communities to build the skill set that's required to meet these capacity needs. So that talent pipeline is incredibly important. So it's real jobs in the manufacturing space.
Well, you've been great, and thank you very much. And we love that state. I won that state by record numbers. I won a lot of states by record. Texas, a lot of them by Indiana. We're working with Indiana or something right now. We won that. We won a lot of them by records, but that was one of them. I want to thank you very much. Say hello to everybody. Great job. You're doing a great job. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Mr. President.
So, just in wrapping up, we'll take a couple of questions, but I want to just tell you what an honor it is to be your friend, and I very much appreciate the investment of now $1 trillion, okay? So I'm glad you got that out. I didn't want to be the one to tell them, but that's great news.
We keep increasing, Mr. President.
I know.
Each time the opportunities are just increasing more and more.
Well, the opportunities, really. We're doing better. If even if you look back 6 months ago, I mean, now all of a sudden you feel even better. So, and I think we're only going to go in one way. Does anybody have any questions?
All right, before that, wow, guys. I mean, you are not allowed to really touch this crown prince. He slapped him on the knee after he said 800 billion. Then he said 1 trillion. And then he said 1.2 trillion. I mean, wow. This is what you voted for. And everybody else that's focused on the other bullshit that probably the press is going to ask about, the Epstein files, yes, okay, release them, whatever. This is what America needs. They need real jobs for real people, Shady.
Yeah, but look at what they're doing. They're acting like that because Donald Trump is doing negotiations with foreign dignitaries and foreign heads of state, that he's somehow Israel first. He's somehow something else first. He's somehow corrupt and going against America. It's the most ridiculous thing you could possibly say. The job of the president is to negotiate with foreign dignitaries. That's his responsibility to us. But here again, remember what we said. Right. It's the faux outrage. You can point at the Sunday Evening Times and freak the hell out and act like it's trying to kill you if you want to. That's what these people are doing.
Yeah, I mean, the people that are just doing these psychological operations are pulling on your emotions. Your emotions don't have an IQ. Most people don't have any idea what economics does for a country, what tariffs are doing for this country, what the massive 18, 19, possibly $20 trillion by the end of this year does for this country. Jobs increase. They're not government jobs. They're real jobs for real people that can actually eventually, when the economy, stabilizes, we'll be able to buy houses and cars. We'll be able to live nicely, guys. This is what I voted for. This is what I understand. I understand the economics and the micro and the macro. And most people are just worried about little stupid crap about Epstein and this and that. And oh my God, it's so crazy, Shady.
Listen, dude, it's about stopping growth. Let's simplify it. Take all of the noise. Get rid of all the noise. What are these people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massie, and the neocon layer and all of these InfoWars people really trying to do? What are they really trying to do? You've got to take out everything that they say. You can't believe a word they say. So you have to come to your own conclusions about what it is that they're up to. And what Jeff is saying is exactly right. Stop economic growth. What they're involved in and what the neocon and the globalists have been involved in is economic terrorism against America for decades and decades and decades by inadvertently manipulating and stopping the growth by bringing in illegal immigrants and by stopping us from being able to manufacture anything on our own. That's why Marjorie Taylor Greene is against him. That's why Thomas Massie is against him. That's why General Flynn is against him. And that's why they've all lit themselves on fire over this.
The globalists and the bloodline families are against him because he's returning power back to you, the people. All right. The Middle East has gotten screwed over deals on oil in the past 50 years. They know it, but you don't know it because the news won't tell you. But if you watch the MG show on Fridays, you will find out what they actually did to the Middle East and why Donald Trump is working with them to make them successful, because if they're successful, they invest in our country. We're successful. And it's a win-win. This is called diplomacy, real diplomacy, not fake globalist bloodline controlled diplomacy, Shady.
Yeah, it's called actually advocating for the country. The country, listen, the country of America is not the borders and the land. The country is the people. The country is the people, the mindset, the people. What do you think? How much can they dilute what people think? And you still think that you're an American. Okay, there is a tipping point. One of the things that Q made very clear is there is a point at which it tips over and it can no longer be salvaged. And if we don't come to the conversation and start to, but all of these people that we're talking about here, guys, are heavily invested in China. We are currently decoupling and divesting in China, and they are losing their minds because they feel like if they lose this midterm, if they lose the 2026 midterm, it's all gone. Every single thing that they built with what was the trade deal called a long time ago? I can't think of it. Not NAFTA. Was it NAFTA? Whatever it is. Everything that they did in NAFTA is going to go away. You have to understand all of it is going away because Trump is doing bilateral talks. He's making negotiations that supersede pre-existing contracts. That's what's pissing them off.
Yeah, let's not forget what happened to the auto industry in Michigan, guys. Caterpillar went overseas, guys. We're bringing them back.
They're
our companies.
They already said they're coming back.
Yeah. Here we go. Let's listen to these ridiculous questions. I'm sure we're going to hear a lot of.
What about Epstein?
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh my God! Make Marjorie Taylor Greene great again. Jeez, it's all about her, isn't it?
Candace Owens.
It's all about Tucker, or not Tucker. Marjorie Taylor Greene. It's all about her, isn't it?
Candace.
Because she can't win a governor race. She's butthurt, Shady. That's exactly what's happening.
I'm going to move back to Georgia and run against her.
Do it. Here we go. Check it out.
Mr. President, have you approved the export licenses for advanced chips to Saudi Arabia? The export licenses?
We are working on that. We're negotiating that right now. Marco, do you want to talk about that, or Scott?
Okay, well, I mean, that's part of what we may have announcements on that later today, but that's what we've been working on is the mechanics by which something like that could be achieved, and it's part of the broader process, part of this broader engagement and cooperation between our two countries.
Certain levels of chips.
Yeah. For the Crown Prince, Royal Highness, you're talking about $1 trillion of investment. Could the kingdom continue to do that with oil prices in the mid-60s?
Yeah, we are not creating the fake opportunities to, please America, please Trump. It's real opportunities. For example, when you ask about the AI and the chips, Saudi Arabia have a huge demand of a huge need of computing power, and we're going to spend in the short term around $50 billion by consuming those semiconductors for our needs in Saudi Arabia. And with the agreement that we're going to have with North America, that will allow us to focus that consuming power in short term by $50 billion from North America, and long term with hundreds of billions of dollars in the long term. So there's a lot of real opportunities that fit to our needs in Saudi Arabia and fit to our investment strategy.
Mr. President, is it appropriate, Mr. President, for your family to be doing business in Saudi Arabia while you're president? Is that a conflict of interest? And Your Royal Highness, the U.S. intelligence concluded that you orchestrated the brutal murder of a journalist. 9/11 families are furious that you are here in the Oval Office.
Who are you with?
Why should Americans trust
Who are you with?
And the same to you, Mr. President.
Now, who are you with?
I'm with ABC News, sir.
You with who?
ABC News, sir.
Fake news. ABC fake news. One of the
But the
worst.
question is
One of the
legitimate,
worst
sir.
in the business. But I'll answer your question.
Thank you.
I have nothing to do with the family business. I have left, and when I've devoted 100% of my energy. What my family does is fine. They do business all over. They've done very little with Saudi Arabia, actually. I'm sure they could do a lot. And anything they've done has been very good. That's what we've done. We've built a tremendous business for a long time. I've been very successful. I decided to leave that success behind and make America very successful. And I've made America more successful by far than it ever was, and that it ever could have been, no matter who was president. There would be nobody bringing in $21 trillion, that I can tell you right now. As far as this gentleman is concerned.
And you know, let's just, can we get media that actually supports this president yet? I mean, how much more does he need to do, Shady?
Obviously, no, he'll never satisfy them.
Wow.
Listen, this is what I was saying, and I'll just throw this out there, but I don't really think that they should exist anymore, guys. I don't think that ABC, NBC, CBS, PBS, this should not exist. Why do we have organizations within America that are literally doing every single thing that they could do to undermine the person that the people picked to be the president? You can be cantankerous. You can be opposing. We used to watch the media. The media was 40% opposed, 60% opposed, 40% for any elected president. A bunch of BS would come out saying he was doing stuff good that he was never doing, and a bunch of BS would come out saying that he did stuff that he didn't really do all the time. This is 100% against, guys. We're talking about, why are these not like communist foreign intelligence operations acting in America against the best wishes or the best interests of the American people 100% of the time?
Yeah. And, and they have to censor us off YouTube for 5 years.
They're afraid of us.
Because they're afraid of the truth, guys. Wow. Okay, let's let President Trump continue. This is crazy, Shady.
That was crazy, because she's talking about Khashoggi there, and everybody, you guys here, you want me to tie that right in? Khashoggi ties right into the whole Flynn network.
Yeah, it does.
Adnan Khashoggi and Alex Jones started InfoWars together. Khashoggi's uncle. That
Wow.
they're talking about right there.
Wow,
Ding.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. I got out of hand.
Apologize for that. Thank you.
He's done a phenomenal job. You're mentioning somebody that was extremely controversial. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about. Whether you like him or didn't like him, things happen. But he knew nothing about it, and we can leave it at that. You don't have to embarrass our guest by asking a question like that.
Just ask Mr. President, if you allow me to answer. I feel painful about the families of 9/11 in America, but we have to focus on reality. Reality based on CIA documents and based on a lot of documents that Osama bin Laden used Saudi people at that event for one main purpose, is to destroy this relation, to destroy the American-Saudi relation. That's the purpose of 9/11. So whoever buying that means they are helping Osama bin Laden's purpose of destroying this relation. He knows that strong relation between America and Saudi Arabia is bad for extremism, it's bad for terrorism. And we have to approve them wrong and to build our relation, to continue developing our relation. It's critical in the safety of the world, it's critical against extremism and terrorism. About the journalists, it's really painful to hear anyone that been losing his life for no real purpose or nothing illegal way, and it's been painful for us in Saudi Arabia. We've did all the right steps of investigation, etc. in Saudi Arabia, and we've improved our system to be sure that nothing happened like that, and it's painful and it's a huge mistake, and we are doing our best that this doesn't happen again.
Mr. President,
Thank you.
I mean, did you just hear what he said, Shady Groove?
He said that you're running a psychological operation on us and trying to stop the relationship from growing between us and can us in the corner where we can't do anything.
And Osama bin Laden used Saudi Arabian people to do just that.
Wow. No wonder bin Laden had those books up there, Jeff. Remember, he had the Bloodline book, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. The CIA reading room had bin Laden's. And by the way, Bin Laden Industries, if you don't know who they are, they built a lot of the embassies worldwide.
The airport in Houston before 9/11 was called the Bush Bin Laden Airport.
Imagine that. All right, here we go. Back to the ridiculousness of the news. He won't tell you the truth, Shady.
Yeah, but it's not a bunch of neocons.
No, we're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
Mr. President, the Crown Prince has been instrumental in helping lifting the sanctions on Syria.
That's true.
Will there be any joint investment between the U.S. and Syria? And will you visit the
Are you from Syria?
No, but
Where are you from?
I'm from Palestine.
Oh, making a lot of progress, huh? Very good. Well, they like the Palestinians like me.
As well after you, sir.
Palestinians are doing very well, actually. I think we're working very closely with a lot of people that make everybody happy, including Israel, the Palestinians, and everybody. That's very interesting. No, I think that I will tell you, the Crown Prince called me, and he specifically asked me if I would lift the sanctions on Syria, because he wants to see Syria make it. As you know, the leader of Syria was just here. We had a great meeting, and he's a strong guy, and I guess you need a strong person to run it. And I think Syria has made tremendous progress. And we did lift the sanctions at the request of the Crown Prince. Also, the President of Turkey, Erdogan, called me specifically. He said, if you don't lift the sanctions, Syria doesn't have a chance. If you do, they have a very good chance. And between the two of them and some others, I lifted the sanctions. And the results so far have been pretty good.
Can I ask you a question about the F-35s that are being sold to Saudi Arabia? Are these the same ones that are being used by the Israeli military? And if so, how does that allow for the qualitative military edge for Israel? And then I want to ask you, because you brought up the plight of the Palestinians, are you aware of relocation flights to South Africa that are taking place right now?
Which flights?
There are relocation flights that are taking place. Some Palestinians are being charged up to $2,000
I'm not going
a
to
seat.
South Africa for the G20 because I think their policies on the extermination of people are unacceptable. So I'm not going. So I won't refer to anything having to do with South Africa. South Africa has behaved extremely badly. But I will say that when you look at the F-35 and you're asking me, is it the same? I think it's going to be pretty similar.
How will that
This
affect-
is a great ally, and Israel's a great ally. And I know they'd like you to get planes of reduced caliber. I don't think that makes you too happy. They've been a great ally. Israel's been a great ally. And we're looking at that exactly right now. But as far as I'm concerned, I think they are both at a level where they should get top of the line. Yes, please.
Can I just ask for the Crown Prince, if I could just ask about the direct talks between
It's all right. Steve, one second. Go ahead.
Have you reached an agreement on a U.S.-Saudi defense treaty today? And are you going to bring up the Abraham Accords in your discussion?
I already brought them up.
What did you say?
I think I got a positive response. Would you like to respond?
Yeah, so definitely we believe
And we'll be going through the break to cover this, guys. Okay, here we go. Keep going.
having a good relation with all Middle Eastern countries is a good thing. And we want to be part of the Ibrahim Accord, but we want also to be sure that we secure a clear path of two-state solution. And today we have a healthy discussion with Mr. President that we're going to work on that to be sure that we can prepare the right situation as soon as possible to have that.
I think we're, I don't want to use the word commitment, but we've had a very good talk on the Abraham Accords. We talked about one state, two state. We talked about a lot of things in a short period of time. We'll be discussing it further, too. But I think you have a very good feeling toward the Abraham Accords.
Yes, definitely, Mr. President. We want peace for the Israelis. We want peace for the Palestinians. We want them to coexist peacefully in the region. And we will do our best to reach that day.
And the defense agreement, have you reached an agreement on that?
We pretty much have.
Mr. President, question for the Crown Prince, if I could just finish.
We have reached agreement on that. Yes.
I wanted to ask you about the direct talks between the United States and Iran. Have you been fully briefed on that, and are you concerned at all about how this might impact Saudi security interests?
Well, we are close ally. We'll be working closely together on that issue, and we will do our best to help to reach a deal between the rest of America and Iran. And we believe it's good for Iran's future to have a good deal that will satisfy the region and the world and the rest of America. So we will do our best to see that day happen.
And by the way, Iran does want to make a deal. I can say I think they very badly want to make a deal. I am totally open to it. And we're talking to them, and we start a process. But it would be a nice thing to have a deal with Iran, and we could have done it before the war, but that didn't work out. And something will happen there, I think. But they would very much like, they may say something else, but they would very much like to have a deal.
You are going to sell F-35
Say it.
You said you are planning to sell the F-35 jets to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Is it part of the security agreement? And how you assess the defense partnership between Saudi Arabia and the United States? And the question was...
You said it, we're going to sell them F-35s. That's the only question.
Is it part of the security agreement or no?
No, we're going to have a deal. They're going to purchase F-35s. They're buying them from Lockheed, and it's a great plane. We make, by the way, the best military equipment. You saw that during the Iran little skirmish. We make the best planes, the best missiles. We make the best defensive missiles. We make the best military equipment in the world.
Nice. For His Royal Highness, I'd like to ask you about how you see the cooperation between the United States and Saudi Arabia in the advanced technological field, especially AI, and how it will support Saudi Arabia to serve its goal to achieve the vision of 2030.
Well, I will try to answer that in short, but definitely there's a lot of interest in many industries between Saudi Arabia and America, and we are signing a lot of agreements in different areas that will really add value to American economy, but also it will add value to us in Saudi Arabia. And AI, it's critical for us because one of long-term problems that we could have is lack of workforce. As you've seen in the past few years, some of them have reached 30% of the global migration to Saudi Arabia. So we know that to assure the Saudi Arabia GDP growing, with the lack of workforce that we have, we need to use a lot of computing power to replace job in the long term. So that's huge demand in Saudi Arabia, and we want to link it to American private sectors and getting the supply from America. So there's a lot of opportunities in that area.
And we're also involved in AI in Saudi Arabia. So we're working, and we're leading by a lot on AI. Actually, a lot. China would be in second place, but we're leading by a lot. And I have to say this, and our relationship with China has been very good. And as far as buying our farm products, they're pretty much on schedule, Scott. I'd like you to call them, say if they could speed it up.
Sir.
Okay, but they're pretty much on schedule.
President, please. If I may, I have a question for both the Crown Prince.
Who are you?
Faisal Abbas from Arab News, Saudi Arabia, Your Excellency.
You should be a friendly question.
Your Royal Highness, just picking up on something you just mentioned about how some people try to destroy the relationship between Saudi Arabia and the United States. Perhaps, since the launch of the vision, we've been used to having the bigger picture and that everything fits into the bigger picture. Might you want to elaborate a little bit about where is the relationship, the bilateral relationship, the strategic partnership between Saudi Arabia and the United States heading, and what's the big picture there?
Well, I don't think it's a relation that we can replace it from the Saudi side or the American side. It's a critical relationship for our political attempt, for our economical attempt, for our security, for our military, for many things. And it has been there for 9 decades, and the opportunities that we have today, it's huge, and it seems that it's going to get deeper in the next few decades. And what we are having today and tomorrow with President Trump, it's really a huge new chapter on this relation that will add value to both of us.
You know, when you think about it, I'm just sitting here. You're with the future king, a man who's respected by everybody, a man that doesn't have to be doing this, really. I don't have to be doing it either. And yet we're sitting here taking questions. We didn't say, oh, you can't talk about this. And there's never been transparency like this, even in his country. But there's never been, in our country, that's been acknowledged. But we didn't put restrictions. And I'm saying it's sort of wonderful to be taking questions from all over the world. Everybody's here. This is just a small group representative of tremendous numbers of media that are outside, that are very jealous that these people were so selected. But they're representing a lot of people that are outside. I think it's terrific that we can be sitting here being this open, and I think it's really a wonderful thing. Yeah.
I don't mind, I have a personal question for you.
Okay, here we go. I should have said that.
So apart from everything you mentioned in your opening remarks, you forgot to mention that you've de-escalated 7 wars since you started. At least in our part of the world, you are seen as a peacemaker. And adding that to all the executive orders and everything else you've mentioned, I really have to wonder, in your speech in Saudi Arabia, I was there, you said that His Royal Highness does not sleep at night thinking how he does things better. We wonder in Saudi Arabia, how do you manage your own time, and what's your formula for managing?
He does not sleep much, and I don't sleep much. I think we have the same schedule. We're thinking about
those that know can't sleep.
Our countries, and if you sleep a lot and you're president, we just had one that slept more than any president. He broke every record. He sleeps all the time, during the day, during the night, on the beach. The only guy could fall asleep on the beach with the press watching. No, he's not a sleeper. I'm not a sleeper. We don't. We talk at night. We can talk. I can call him almost any time. He goes, hi, how you doing? It's like the craziest times. But no, when you love your job, when you love your country, and when you're in a position like we are, future king, highly respected, crown prince, and in my case, president, you're thinking about your country. You're thinking about making America great again. We're thinking about keeping Saudi Arabia strong and viable in a pretty tough part of the world, tricky part, right? Tricky part. A lot of tricky people. But he thinks about his country, and I think about my country. I don't want to sleep.
President Trump, do you expect
All right, I just want to quickly bring in a post about sleep, okay? This is Q Post 144-11-12-2017. All right, this is Patriots Don't Sleep. 40,000-foot view necessary to understand U.S. Saudi Arabia global events. Paint the picture. Decrease the altitude. We will not fly that high again. Higher altitude, greater risk of conspiracy. ST. Many cannot and will not swallow what is the no such agency. Q Group, who has the clearance full picture. This is interesting. So those that know can't sleep. I heard you can't sleep anymore. No sleep during op. Could you sleep if you knew the truth about everything? I mean, this is very amazing. We are closer than you think. Try to get some sleep. It must be difficult. Nobody is sleeping tonight. Those good who know cannot sleep. Okay? Those good who know cannot find peace. Wow, Shady.
Interesting.
Yeah. Great question.
Yes.
Formal civil nuclear deal to be reached soon. Can you talk to us about that aspect?
With who?
With Saudi Arabia.
I can see that happening.
Do you think that an agreement will happen today?
It's not urgent. It's always when you have civil nuclear, but you have more oil than almost anybody else. We actually have more oil and gas than they do, but I refuse to say that. We have more than. We have more than anybody. Can you imagine?
On the F-35s, are those sales, Israel have reportedly wanted those sales to be conditioned on Saudi Arabia moving to normalized
Israel will be happy. Israel is going to be happy.
Is that a condition of the F-35?
Israel's aware, and they're going to be very happy. Okay? Yeah, please. Hello.
Hi, hello. My name is Anna Al-Hazani from Sharq Al-Awsat newspaper, from Riyadh.
Good.
I have a question for the Crown Prince and for the President. Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, how much you expected from developing the cooperation with the United States in the field of new energy, AI, supply chain? how much you expected from that?
No limit. We just continue pushing forward. There's no limit. So we just push forward for all the opportunities that we have.
Okay, Mr.
This is, you have to understand, this is really a great ally.
Yeah.
Just the fact that they're now doing, I came in here at 6, I did not know that. I was pushing for the 1 trillion, but he didn't tell me that. Now he told me. This is a great ally of ours. You know, when you invest $1 trillion, that's national security for us too, because it creates jobs, it creates a lot of things. And I would say, Scott, right, when you hear one country is putting $1 trillion into the United States, that creates national security. And, you know, I think that they don't have to say that, but I think a big part of that is also the fact that tariffs are in play. But even beyond tariffs, that's a real ally that will do that. Creates a lot of power for the United States.
We are also Saudi Arabia very happy for this much Saudi
right, for the relationship.
money is attention here, and of course it's come back for us for benefits. So it's complementary interest. So this is the
Well, yeah.
friends and ally do.
Well, look, I love the country of Saudi Arabia. I know the people very well. The level of treatment that we go when we go to Saudi Arabia is something that is incredible. And the people like us, and I think they really like America, especially when I'm president. I mean, I don't think they liked America so much maybe for 4 years recently. I think Obama treated Saudi Arabia very, very badly, as you know. And I think Biden didn't have any idea where the hell he was. I don't think Biden knew the difference.
How would you describe the future relationship with Saudi Arabia? I mean, from the strategic aspect. How would you describe
How would I say the relationship is with?
Yeah, the limit of economic.
I would say top of the line. It's as good as it can. I don't think it can get much better. We have a country that trusts us, and that's why they make that investment. If they didn't trust us, they couldn't make that investment. And we trust them. They've been very reliable. Now I rebuilt our military in my first term, and we spent trillions of dollars, and we gave away some of it in Afghanistan stupidly because we had stupid people running our country. But we gave away. But that's, as much as it was, it's a tiny fraction of what we put here. And we're bringing our military to a new level, the highest level ever. We have those plants are going out. And again, it's all American jobs and everything, so it's good for a lot of reasons. But as far as Saudi is concerned, no, I don't think our relationship could be better. I don't think they had a great relationship under Biden, and I don't think they had a great relationship under Obama. But they have a great relationship under Trump. When we did the Presidential Walk of Fame, you saw that, right? And we're walking, and I asked the Crown Prince, so outside of Trump, because I blow everyone away, who was the best president for Saudi Arabia? And you could, maybe, it's an interesting answer. I don't know.
Roosevelt, who started it, was a Democrat, and Reagan is one of the historical presidents that have close ties with Saudi Arabia. But we've worked with all presidents.
Does Trump blow them all away?
It's another league, Mr. President.
And Trump doesn't give a fist pump. I grabbed that hand. I don't give a hell where that hand's been. I grabbed that hand. When remember Biden? He travels for 20 hours, gets out, and he gives the fist bump. No. When you get out of the plane, and you got the future king and the man who's one of the most respected people in the world, you shake his hand. You don't give him a fist bump, right? We don't want to ask you about that, but I can't imagine you were thrilled. You were like a little bit surprised. He's a fantastic guy. You don't do that. Yeah, please.
We're getting closer to the end of the year. Have you started the interviews for the Fed chair?
Yes.
Who have you interviewed?
I think I already know my choice.
Who is it?
Well, I liked him, but he's not going to take the job. He refused. You like Treasury better, right?
Much better, sir.
So we are talking to various people, and frankly, I'd love to get the guy currently in there out right now. But people are holding me back. He's done a terrible job. hurting housing a little bit. The truth is, we've been so successful, we've blown past his interest rate stupidity. He's been wrong. That's why I call him too late. He's too late. Jerome Too Late Powell. He was recommended to me by a guy that made a bad choice. And it's too bad. But despite that, it's having very little impact because we have all of these things happening. But it has an impact on housing to a certain extent. He's a fool. He's a stupid man. But we have some very good people.
Yes, sir. You'll be sitting down with them in the near future, and
we have some surprising names, and we have some standard names that everybody's talking about. And we may go the standard way. It's nice to every once in a while go politically correct. But we have some great names. Steve?
Have they talked to the president of the Bureau of Venezuela yet? Or are you still
No.
open to that?
He wants to talk.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm open to talk. I talk to everybody. But no, he wants to. They treated us very badly. They sent all of their prison population into the United States, and we're getting them out rapidly. But he sent all of his, and he sends drugs into the United States and other things. No, he treated us badly. He was dealing with a bad president, and he was able to get away. We have now, I think we have the strongest borders anywhere in the world. Nobody's coming in unless they come in legally. We've taken very weak borders where millions of people came in. For the last 6 months, I mean, I don't do these reports. They say 0 people have been able to come in. Is that pretty good? I don't know if that number's right, but it's pretty
Mr. President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
You know, it's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who is highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just a terrible question. And you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched, or somebody psychs you over at ABC, they're going to psych it. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. As far as the Epstein files is, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert. And I guess I turned out to be right. But you know who does have? Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, who ran Harvard, was with him every single night, every single weekend. They lived together. They went to his island many times. I never did. Andrew Weissman, I hear. All these guys were friends of his. You don't even talk about those people. You just keep going on the Epstein files. And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax to try and get me not to be able to talk about the $21 trillion that I talked about today. It's a hoax. Now, I just got a little report, and I put it in my pocket, of all the money that he's given to Democrats. He gave me none, 0, no money to me. But he gave money to Democrats. And people are wise to your hoax. And ABC's your company, your crappy company, is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you something.
So why not just sign it now?
I think the license should be taken away from ABC because your news is so fake.
Let's go.
So wrong.
Who told you?
And we have a great commissioner, chairman, who should look at that because I think when you come in and when you're 97% negative to Trump and then Trump wins the election in a landslide, that means obviously your news is not credible and you're not credible as a reporter. So I've answered your question. You should go and look at the Democrats who received money from Epstein, who spent their time. Larry Summers was with him all the time. That creep, the fund guy, was with him all the time. What's his name?
Reid Hoffman.
Reid Hoffman. I don't know Reid Hoffman, but I know he spent a lot of
LinkedIn,
money
Reid
on the
Hoffman.
radical left. Reid Hoffman, in my opinion, should be under investigation. He's a sleazebag. And those are the people, but they don't get any press, they don't get any news, and you're not after the radical left because you're a radical left network. But I think the way you ask a question with the anger and the meanness is terrible. You got to go back and learn how to be a reporter. No more questions from you. Who else has a question?
Friends, very quickly, I want to ask you, how much money is Saudi Arabia?
Can I just gloat with that for a minute, Shady Groove?
Mm-hmm.
Can we just absorb how awesome that was real quick?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
We absolutely can.
Wow. And remember, ABC had the report about Jeffrey Epstein and they buried it. Remember that, Shady Grove?
Well, let's not forget that ABC is Disney.
Oh
yeah.
Imagine that.
And let's not forget the associations between like the Disney cruise lines and
Epstein Island. Yep.
Yeah, all these little like things that just happen to be, so the people that are perpetrating it are the ones that are up there screaming in your face about it, almost like the whole thing that's going on with the Flynn Network, isn't it? Thomas Massey, by the way, just want to bring this up, has made a statement about what we saw from Speaker Johnson. Here's his statement. This is how Speaker Johnson plans to protect perverts who went to the rape island from embarrassment. Do not let the Senate add an amendment to avoid disclosing those rich and powerful men who have evaded justice for so many years. Is Johnson calling all victims non-credible? And he puts the little thing that Johnson had there this morning. So look at that right there. So right there, you see that this was engineered as a way to try to prevent this disclosure from getting to the public, because they literally, per law, cannot release CSAM, child whatever porn, C-SPAN, whatever it is. They can't release that to the public.
Wow. Unbelievable.
And he's sitting there saying, you can't change this to where you're not allowed to release that. This is not going to reveal people going to the island, guys. I'm sorry. It's going to reveal some pretty gnarly business dealings that he had with companies that you probably like, but I don't think that it's going to reveal any sexual exploitations of anyone.
And again, you can infer things that from the flight logs of people that went to the island, but you need victims, guys. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let me talk to that just for a second, right? To what you're saying. Wasn't that who was with Marjorie?
Yeah.
Didn't she have a bunch of victims behind her?
Yeah. And they all settled.
She's saying release the list. They can't say anything. Why?
Because they're under NDAs.
Oh, isn't that interesting? So
because they received money.
Right. So you're standing there with the people that can't tell you anything, acting like we've got to tell you something.
And, Trump talked about Reid Hoffman and his venture capital firm. These are the firms that took that. Okay. So there was a person, a lawyer that was going against Epstein, and he found out that they made fake victims. Okay. They made fake victims, said, oh boy, you get a $20 million payout. These venture capital companies that are friendly with Epstein said, oh, we'll give you $5 million now for your 20 million, and they'll keep the 20 million. Do you understand that this is a hoax?
That's why J.P. Morgan is involved in all this.
And Jeffrey Epstein was arrested. Okay, he was in prison, for crying out loud, guys.
It was Maxwell.
And Maxwell's in prison. They were arrested, guys. You need victims to speak out against Bill Clinton. You need victims to speak out against all the other people. But what you're going to find out, I think this hoax is going to go a lot deeper than what people think, Shady.
Juanita Broderick did speak out.
Yeah, she did.
A number of other people, I can't think of the other lady's name, Paula Jones.
Yeah, Paula Jones.
Did speak out. They spoke out and then they were smeared across the tabloids and acted like that they were liars.
Yeah.
All these pictures that were put out by Q of the Epstein or of the plane, there was like 10 or 15 pictures that were taken. Some of them were on the plane.
Yeah. It's crazy, guys. We're going to find out. And they're doing it so you can't go after people either. You got to realize that this vote is basically sabotaging the investigation that could be ongoing as well, Shady.
And another thing I wanted to mention real quick before we jump back to that, because I'll get distracted. But part of the thing that we were talking about with the bilateral trade negotiations that he's doing, guys, the psychological operation that they're calling us, people like you and I and Jeff, the people like us here at the MG Show, they call us isolationists. Because we're populists and because we believe in that America should be considered as a top priority to anything that has anything to do with politics. America. So because we believe that, we're an isolationist. But the whole globalist order is organized in a way to prevent America from growing. So the globalist order is isolating you away from the economy, isolating you away from the future, isolating you away from being able to participate. Meanwhile, they are plugged in like they have a blood transfusion, and they're sucking every bit of the energy in the blood out of you and utilizing it to further malign and isolate you while they call you an isolationist and tell you that you're somehow a racist, bigoted fascist because you believe in America.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what's happening in our world, and there's a lot of people are drinking the Dotard juice.
And look at this. Find out the people that went to the island. POTUS, Anons No, from July 12th, 2019. He's never changed his stance. Let's listen to
Let's see.
This is a Q post as well, guys. Check it out.
I was not a fan of Jeffrey Epstein, and you watched people yesterday saying that I threw him out of a club. I didn't want anything to do with him. That was many, many years ago. It shows you one thing, that I have good taste, okay? Now, other people, they went all over with him. They went to his island. They went all over the place. He was very well known in Palm Beach. His island, whatever his island was, wherever it is, I was never there. Find out the people that went to the island. But Jeffrey Epstein was not somebody that I respected. I threw him out. In fact, I think the great James Patterson, who's a member of Mar-a-Lago, made a statement yesterday that many years ago I threw him out. I'm not a fan of Jeffrey Epstein.
I mean, what part of that don't they understand? I mean, we've been talking about this. That was 2019, Shady.
It's all being used. That's the reason he said it was a hoax. He wasn't saying that there was no Epstein files. See, this is the way you understand stupid. These people like Massey and Green hear whenever he says that it's a hoax, they hear him saying that there's no such thing as any Epstein files. That's not what he's saying. What he's saying is that you're using this topic, this subject, as a weapon against me in an unfair way by conflating facts and reality and twisting them to absorb confused people and generate a psychological operation or a media manipulation tactic against me.
Right.
And as soon as he calls her out for it, what does she do, Jeff? She turns around and acts like she literally put information out saying that one of her construction sites had a bomb threat. Well, some people went to the place where you would report a bomb threat to a construction site, and the authorities said that no such report of a bomb threat to a construction site in Georgia had been made. It's all lies. It's a lie. You lie to me one time. One time you lie to me, and that's it, guys. You have to understand that. Everybody is so used to like these people like telling you JFK Jr. is alive and Joe Biden's a guy in a mask and the illegals are coming here to save us. They've lied to you so much that you're like, oh, well, that lie's not so bad.
I mean, it's crazy. It's called, programming. Shady.
It is programming.
It's psychological operations. Yeah. MK Ultra for life. All right, here, let's go back to the end of this. I don't think there's much left. Let's check it out.
Over here, aren't we?
Yeah, fire it up.
Yeah. For Gaza reconstruction.
When we have a discussion about that. Still, there's no amount being
It'll be named,
but we will definitely have.
Yeah, he's going to. It's very important to him.
And a quick follow-up: the International Security Force. Given your pledge, there will be no U.S. boots on the ground. What is the U.S. role going to be in that? And how do you sort of ratify the allegations that this could undermine Palestinian sovereignty and even the path to safety?
I think we're going to get along great with the Palestinians, and we know their leadership. We just had a you hate to say war, but it was a war, very, very successful. And you could say really it was on behalf of everybody. We did that on behalf of everybody. And the outcome was extraordinary because we had the best pilots, the best equipment, the best planes, the best everything. And Israel bought the best equipment. They bought it from us. Everything's from us. It all starts here. This office, I was talking to the Crown Prince a little while. You walk into this office, for somebody from the outside, the Oval Office, it's the most powerful place in the world. You're standing right now in the most powerful place in the world. And no matter how big you are, these are the biggest people, the richest people. They walk into this office, it's special, isn't it? Look at him, he's so happy to be here. But you walk into this office, it's the Oval Office, and we've done a lot of good with this office. I've stopped actually 8 wars. I appreciated your question before, but I've actually stopped 8 wars. I have another one to go with Putin. I'm a little surprised at Putin. It's taken longer than I thought, but we stopped India and Pakistan. I could go through the list, you know the list better than I do. I'm very proud, and I stopped one that was almost ready to start again. There was one that was ready to start, and they're doing very well. So it all took place right here in the Oval Office, whether by telephone or whether they came in. Many of these leaders have come in, and they signed their peace deals right here in the Oval Office. So no matter if it's the biggest business people in the world or the greatest leaders in the world, the biggest leaders in the world. Like the gentleman on my right, everybody walks into the Oval Office and they say, wow. And now, by the way, the Oval Office is in the kind of condition that it should be in. Whether you look at the walk or the marble floors or anything down the road, we're fixing the White House, and we're building one of the greatest ballrooms
everything
ever to be built. You know, we have an event tonight, and we're going to have about 118 people because we have a very small room. For 150 years, they've wanted a ballroom, and now you're going to get a great ballroom. And I have to say, I probably made a lot of enemies because in your honor, we're having a dinner tonight, a beautiful dinner tonight, and we have a very small room, right? It's called the East Room, and it's beautiful, it's lovely, but it's like for a little cocktail before you go into a ballroom. It's a very small room. They've wanted a new ballroom for 150 years. We could have sold the big ballroom out 3 times in honor of this gentleman. So I made a lot of enemies because I have a lot of people that are invited tonight or are unable to come because of the size constraint. But you know what we'll do before I leave office? We'll have another dinner because we'll have it ready long before I leave office, and it's going to be beautiful. It's you know, it's a very popular thing what we're doing. And by the way, no government funds. It's all put up private money, all private money. And in the case, I think it's there's a restriction on foreigners. Otherwise, I could have asked you just for a check. Okay? But there's a restriction. These are all private individuals that put up a lot of money to build the ballroom. Not one penny is being used from the federal government. So it's really a nice thing. But I look forward to it. I just pointed it out. If this would be a perfect night to have that ballroom open, Susie. If we had that open, we'd have a lot of people very happy. Right now we have a lot of unhappy people because they all want to be with us tonight to honor this great man. Thank you all very much.
Wow. Wow, and the Democrats want to tear it down when they get back in power, if they ever get back in power with their political BS that they constantly, perpetuate on the American people. Shady Groove, wow.
I think that was a very amazing beginning to what is going to be the next 3 years. And we're going to be sitting here 3 years from now looking at an America. Right now, you have to understand that the debt to gross production statistic in America is almost double. Okay, we're a little over 20 trillion that we do in business every year. We have a $38 trillion deficit, debt looming over us, created 100% by the Fed. It's an archaic system of credit that we've been borrowing money from ourselves to pay ourselves so that we could not be bankrupt. It's insanity what's actually been going on. So think about what you're seeing here. If America in 3 years has a net gross production of, say, 32 or $30 trillion a year, you're growing the economy out of debt. The only way out of debt, think about it like your own self. Like if you're in debt, how the hell do you get out of debt? Do you get out of debt by borrowing more money? Or do you get out of debt by getting off the couch and going to work every day and not spending any money until you get out of debt? Okay. This is the magnificent brilliance of Donald Trump. And it's just interesting that we have people like, little hangers on out there like Ann Vandersteel screaming at Susie Wiles saying, "Psst, hey, Susie Wiles, you may want to pivot now. The MAGA ship is sailing." This is Ann Vandersteel. The MAGA ship is sailing, and several of you missed the boat. Oh, and friendly reminder, we the people are your boss. President Trump is too, and we are his boss. Tell Blondie to do her damn job. This is not a Fox News hit. That's Ann Vandersteel talking to Susie Wiles, who Donald Trump was just saying, just pretty much, it's his right-hand person in the administration, guys. The reason that they are going after Susie, and the reason they're going after Cash, and the reason that they're going after Pam is because they're chicken shit to go after Trump.
I think they are going after Trump by proxy, right?
Well, it is by proxy, but I'm saying, make your look at what she says right there. She's acting I'm talking to Susie. No, talk to the guy. You're acting like, Trump is your boss. No, you're undermining the boss that you're pretending to support by attacking his right-hand person.
Yep. All right, so let's get some ivermectin here, guys. Check it out. Made in America, guys. This is very important. Did you know that 75% of the Nobel Prize-winning ivermectin that helped save millions during the pandemic is primarily made in Asia, but not the wellness companies? Introducing American-made ivermectin, safe, trusted, and produced right here in the good old USA. For more than 30 years, ivermectin has shown proven ability to eliminate parasites, and new research also points to potential benefits for skin, immune, and cancer support. Most pharmacies charge $5 a tablet, but the wellness company is offering a higher 18-milligram dose for just $3.33 each. You'll get a 6-month supply designed for 4 21-day cycles, all at an unbeatable price. Get your U.S.-made ivermectin today by scanning the QR code or head on over to twc.health/rumble and use that code RUMBLE to save $30 off plus free shipping. USA residents only.
Thank
all right,
you.
welcome back. Yeah, a lot of people that that aren't on X don't see all this Ann Vanderkrap stuff. And, it's like, it's really getting like tiring, Shady. It's like so ridiculous. These people.
I have people that are explaining to me that I am somehow in the minority. I'm like, you are a lunatic. Like, there's no way. Like, there's there's not a single human being in reality that is not somehow plugged into, reading Alex Jones or InfoWars that has a shred of hint that any of this is even happening. This is all 100% psychological operation online to generate frustration, chaos, and confusion against a man who is actually the simplicity of Trump is this is the reason that we are bringing you what Trump says in its entirety, because the simplicity of this man is not difficult to understand. These nutty psyop people, they have to have something hard to understand so that they can confuse you with it. That's what they were doing during Bush and Obama and Clinton. They were able to confuse you because they had all of this nutty stuff going on. Donald Trump isn't confusing because if you listen to him, he tells you what he's saying.
And I'd like to think that we have a major win here with Alexis Wilkins. This is Kash Patel's girlfriend. She responds to a Michael Flynn Jr. saying, more FBI Director Kash girlfriend-related drama, eye roll. Yes, and thank you for your contribution to it, coming from what your family has been through and been supported on. It's disappointing to see this reaction from you, at General Flynn.
Isn't that interesting?
Wow, thank you, Alexis. Yeah, that's really good. All right, so I want to...
I said sometimes we all find ourselves on the right side of reality.
Amazing, isn't it?
It really is. It's not that hard to navigate if you do a little thinking.
Maybe that's why they hate the MG show, Shady Groove, because we have influence.
The biggest space, the most important area is the area between your ears.
Yeah.
The only area that you can actually manage, the only area that you have any control over, the only thing that you can do anything about is this area right here, the 4 inches in between your ears. And if you don't mind that garden, you can't mind other people's. And what we're watching right now is other people losing their you-know-what because they are no longer the loud voices in the room. Yeah. Donald Trump is the loud voice in the room. And they know that if they lose these midterms, it is over. It's all over. The whole China thing that they've built since Kissinger went to China ends if we stop them in the midterms. It all ends, and they all know it.
Yeah, I mean, and it's happening, and there is nothing that can stop it. They might keep you confused and, saying that, Trump is bad, orange man bad. I mean, they're no different than the left, Shady Groove, at this point. They're exposed.
That's true, and we actually have a little statistic to bring to you that, and I think that Yeti will correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think it was 42 congressmen that we saw that aren't seeking re-election this year.
Wow.
10% of Congress, I think, is what we were reading last week. So 10% of Congress is not seeking re-election, which means that Donald Trump is going to get to look at the game board and say, oh, you, and you. And then he's going to go out there and he's going to rally for these people. And we're going to actually be able to put up on the board Donald Trump's accomplishments for the last year and a half and the trillions and trillions of dollars of investment so that the larger group of Americans that are completely filtered through CNN, PBS, and NBC can see what's really going on.
And these networks on X.
And all of the...
I mean, they're the same at this point, Shady, aren't they?
Facebook, X, it's all the same,
47 people aren't seeking. Yep, wow. Wow.
Yep.
All right, so I've got a pesky Shady Groove.
Another one?
A pesky Q-proof. Wow. So let's just get into it. This is the only healthcare I will support or approve is sending the money directly back to the people with nothing going to the big, fat, rich insurance companies who have made trillions and ripped off America long enough. The people will be allowed to negotiate and buy their own much better insurance. Power to the people. Congress, do not waste your time and energy on anything else. This is the only way to have a great health care in America. Get it done now. President DJT now. This is amazing. There are 12 posts with power to the people, Shady. They thought crooked Hillary would never lose. So many disastrous mistakes made. Returning power to the people. Q plus, guys. Wow. This one right here. Listen carefully. I believe this is our movement, right? Returning power to the people, draining the swamp. POTUS is fighting for you. It's been a long time since we've had a non-corrupt POTUS who cares for the people and not himself. How about this one, Shady? Trust yourself. Be free in your thoughts. The Great Awakening. Return power to the people. It's been a long time since we've had a non-corrupt president, right? Boom. America is no longer for sale. And then... yeah, I made a song too, Shady Groove. But look at that, Shady Groove. These are all the posts. Let's go take a look. You want to see any that do you see any that you want to point out? This is the first one was 11/1/2017, Shady.
Yeah, I mean, it's like all of these that are. This is the reason. This is the reason this is the reason for the animation by the InfoWars people. They're screaming America first. Are they not screaming at us America first? So that means they're lying POSs, right? Because they never tell you what it is they're really doing. Yeah. So they're saying to you, oh, we're America first. Really? So then how can you be more America first than MAGA?
So this is also a comm from the president, 1646, Shady, on 6/30/2018. You have a choice. The choice has always been yours. Power to the people. They want you divided. They want race wars. They want class wars. They want religious wars. They want political wars. They use the media. They use Hollywood. They use political leaders. They are loud. Group think. Public shame against those who challenge slavery. So we get public shamed against challenging their narrative, Shady, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Slavery. They know what is coming. It is now more clear than ever. Never in our history have they been this exposed. Never in our history have they come out from the shadows to fight. The truth is clearly visible. Defend MS-13. Defend the destruction of our borders. Promote the fear nuclear war if POTUS remains in office. Nuclear alerts malfunction compared to Hitler Nazis. Promote violence. Promote hate. Promote war. Promote economic decline, promote NK to end talks with POTUS, promote impeachment for no reason, promote racism, promote fascism, promote riots, form Antifa, violent group designed to instill fear in free speech, hatred for America. Sheep follow blindly. They are scared. They are losing control. They knew this day would come. We planned. We took control over key elements. We stand at the ready. We fight. We fight. Dark to light. God bless America. God bless patriots around the world. Think for yourself. Trust yourself. Courage. Together, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men and that all men are created equal, and that we are endowed by their Creator with the certain unalienable rights. That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is a right of we the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute a new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right. It is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Be on your guard, stand firm in the faith, be courageous, and be strong. And Shady, what is this right here?
Our movement is about replacing a failed and corrupt political establishment with a new government controlled by you, the American people. The Washington establishment and the financial and media corporations that fund it exist for only one reason: to protect and enrich itself. The establishment has trillions of dollars at stake in this election. For those who control the levers of power in Washington and for the global special interest, they partner with these people that don't have your good in mind. Our campaign represents a true existential threat like they haven't seen before. This is not simply another four-year election. This is a crossroads in the history of our civilization that will determine whether or not we, the people, reclaim control over our government. The political establishment that is trying to stop us is the same group responsible for our disastrous trade deals, massive illegal immigration, and economic and foreign policies that have bled our country dry. The political establishment has brought about the destruction of our factories and our jobs as they flee to Mexico, China, and other countries all around the world. It's a global power structure that is responsible for the economic decisions that have robbed our working class, stripped our country of its wealth, and put that money into the pockets of a handful of large corporations and political entities. This is a struggle for the survival of our nation, and this will be our last chance to save it. This election will determine whether we're a free nation or whether we have only the illusion of democracy, but are in fact controlled by a small handful of global special interests rigging the system, and our system is rigged. This is reality. You know it, they know it, I know it, and pretty much the whole world knows it. The Clinton machine is at the center of this power structure. We've seen this firsthand in the WikiLeaks documents, in which Hillary Clinton meets in secret with international banks to plot the destruction of U.S. sovereignty in order to enrich these global financial powers, her special interest friends,
and the insurance companies,
and her donors. Honestly, she should be locked up. The most powerful weapon deployed by the Clintons is the corporate media, the press. Let's be clear on one thing. The corporate media in our country is no longer involved in journalism. They're a political special interest, no different than any lobbyist or other financial entity with a total political agenda, and the agenda is not for you, it's for themselves. Anyone who challenges their control is deemed a sexist, a racist, a xenophobe. They will lie, and then again, they will do worse than that. They will do whatever's necessary. The Clintons are criminals, remember that. This is well documented, and the establishment that protects them has engaged in a massive cover-up of widespread criminal activity at the State Department and the Clinton Foundation in order to keep the Clintons in power. They knew they would throw every lie they could at me and my family and my loved ones. They knew they would stop at nothing to try to stop me. Nevertheless, I take all of these slings and arrows gladly for you. I take them for our movement so that we can have our country back. I knew this day would arrive. It's only a question of when. And I knew the American people would rise above it and vote for the future they deserve. The only thing that can stop this corrupt machine is you. The only force strong enough to save our country is us. The only people brave enough to vote out this corrupt establishment is you, the American people. Our great civilization has come upon a moment of reckoning. I didn't need to do this, folks, believe me. I built a great company, and I had a wonderful life. I could have enjoyed the fruits and benefit of years of successful business deals and businesses for myself and my family, instead of going through this absolute horror show of lies, deceptions, malicious attacks, Who would have thought? I'm doing it because this country has given me so much, and I feel so strongly that it's my turn to give back to the country that I love. I'm doing this for the people and for the movement, and we will take back this country for you, and we will make America great again.
Power to the people, Shady Groove. That's probably one of the best speeches I've ever heard in my entire life.
Not the establishment. The establishment are the ones that are telling you that we are groupthink now. Now the establishment has come to the conversation to explain to you that the people that support Donald Trump are somehow the globalists, and they're here to save us from them, considering that, Marjorie Taylor Greene's portfolio increased by like 900%. She's over $25 million of net worth, only next to like two other people, Nancy Pelosi, of congressmen who've taken advantage of their position in Congress. What actually is happening right now, Jeff? What I think is happening is I think there's a whole layer of corruption that we have yet to see, sir. I think there's a whole layer of corruption that is out there that is very obvious on the surface. It's laying right there. Donald Trump knows that it's laying there, and he's been watching these idiots step closer and closer and closer to the edge ever since. And the moment that they do, like what Marjorie Taylor Greene has just done, they're going to be exposed. So I would expect to see some very damning information about the practices of Marjorie Taylor Greene and her businesses, and maybe a number of other people. That Elijah Schaffer guy's having trouble getting back into America. Jeff, did you happen to see that?
Yeah, that was BS. That's he just got flagged from. It's not a national security thing. It's a normal thing. But anyways, I wanted to tie this back to what we were talking about, which is power to the people. This is one of the big lobbies, guys. Healthcare. Okay, get the money back to you. The big, fat, rich insurance companies who have made trillions and ripped off America. This is a Q proof, and it's pesky, Shady.
But is this exactly what he did with the schools, Jeff? He said we want to give the money to the parents to send their children to wherever they wanted to go.
That's
so
right.
effectively, what he's saying is power to the people means putting the money back into your control. So in other words, he's talking about economics. He's not talking about a damn thing to do with Epstein. He's not talking about anything to do with like social programs or social engineering. He's basically telling you, I'm going to bring you a bunch of jobs, and then you're not going to be able to bitch, whine, and complain and be on food stamps all day. No, there's like 7-8 million jobs sitting there. You can go get one of those. And then if that doesn't work out, you can go find another one.
I mean, the Great Awakening, return power to the people. It's been a long time, guys, since we've had a non-corrupt president who works on behalf of you, the American people, and not himself. Did you hear the stupid question that ABC is trying to show you, that he's working for himself at Saudi Arabia and she's full of crap? America is no longer for sale, lady. Wow.
And especially not the way that it was. Not the way that ABC is mad because America is no longer for sale.
Yeah.
See, ABC would be fine if Donald Trump had come into office and continued the grift, continued the con, told everybody everything that they wanted to hear, and then go right into perpetual war and leaving the border open and saying that we can't do anything. And, oh, woe is me. I did the best I could, guys, like Obama did. Bunch of nonsense.
Yeah.
They'd be fine with him then.
Let's look at let's look at Marjorie Taylor Greene. Guys, this is not a fake fight. There's no white hat. This is her destroying her political career. Do you understand? I understand it. Do you understand it?
I understand it.
My God. But what happened is she came out and she basically is saying that we're ripped apart. It's because this is all about her, right? Check it out.
One of the most destructive things to MAGA is watching the man that we supported early on, 3 elections, for people that
early on
until hours slept in their cars to go to rallies, have fought for truth and transparency, and to hold what we consider a corrupt government accountable. Watching this actually turn into a fight has ripped MAGA apart.
No, it hasn't.
No.
The only thing that will speak to the powerful, courageous women behind me is when action is actually taken to release these files, and the American people won't tolerate any other bullshit.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's where we're at, Shady. That's where we're at because we're not bringing jobs back to America. The economy's not better. I mean, my whole view on America does not rest on the Epstein files. I'm sorry.
But Thomas Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene's does, and so does Rand Paul's, and so does Mitch McConnell, and a number of other people out there that are hiding in the shadows that are pushing this stuff forward. Paul Ryan is back there. A number of others are really excited about this whole thing. And what we're seeing today, from what I saw with Mike Johnson, is this is going nowhere. Yep. There's no way that they're going to authorize releasing child pornography material to the American people, guys. So what's going to end up happening is this is going to be like, there's going to be stuff put out. There's going to be tons of redactions because the stuff is not seen. And they're going to scream and yell and light their hair on fire that it's still being censored.
So Marjorie Taylor Greene basically implies that our president, your president, is the traitor. Listen to this.
That's what we did by fighting so hard against the most powerful people in the world, even the President of the United States, in order to make this vote happen today. I was called a traitor by a man that I fought for 6 years for. And I gave him my loyalty for free. I won my first election without his endorsement, beating 8 men in a primary. And I've never owed him anything, but I fought for him for the policies and for America first. And he called me a traitor for standing with these women and refusing to take my name off the discharge.
Nothing to do with those women.
Let me tell you what a traitor is. A traitor is an American that serves foreign countries and themselves. A patriot is an American that serves the United States of America and Americans like the women standing behind me. And I want to tell you that this only became possible today because the American people whom we...
So didn't she basically say that Trump's a traitor there, Shady Groove?
Yep.
Wow. MTG, you're done. Sorry. And Shady Grove, the power belongs to the people, okay?
That's what I say.
You know, and you know, that's where we're going to leave off. Shady Grove, it is 1:56, right? We got a little bit of time. We got 1 minute to wrap it up. Thank you, guys, today. What an amazing day. We got $1 trillion, 1.2 trillion possibly from Saudi Arabia today. I mean, you know, look, if you really want to understand politics, understand the economy. Shady Grove.
Thank you guys, everybody, so much. I hope that you're understanding the significance and the importance of the voices that are here at the show. Our voices are on the air because of you. We are going to depend on you looking forward to strengthen and to broaden the reach that we have here. Now that we are back on YouTube and that we have access to the World Wide Web in a normal way again, so that we can expand and explain to everybody exactly what it is that's going on here. This is not going to be a light lift. Okay. And we are going to be, again, just like we were a number of years ago, the only voices of reason in a dark room.
Yeah. Oh my God. Hang on one second. I got, let's just go out here, guys. So I made a song about that Q proof, guys, that Q post with power to the people. Let's listen to it. We're going to head out of here. God bless you all. Love you guys.
See you Wednesday. Thank you for the support.
You have a choice. It's always been yours. A voice they can't silence, breaking through the noise. They pull the strings, they set the stage, divide us with wars, lock us in a cage. Race and class, faith and fear, they scream so loud, but we're still here. Through MG show, the truth breaks free. MG music lifts us, a rallying plea. Power to the people, hear the call ignite. Dark to light, we're stepping out tonight. They're losing grip, their shadows fade. Together we stand unafraid. Oh, power to the people. us believe. Defend the chaos, push the dread. Nuclear whispers, words they bled. MG music plays a rebel sound. The truth is clear, it's all around. Power to the people, hear the call ignite. Dark to light, we're stepping out tonight. They're losing grip, their shadows fade. Together we stand unafraid. Oh, power to the people. Oh, we'll never let it go. We planned, we fought, we took the reins. Through the storm, through the chains. Antifa rises, fears their game. But MG show calls out their shame. Sheep may follow blind and weak. MG music wakes us, truth we seek. God bless the brave, the heart sincere. From every shore, the call is clear. Power to the people, hear the call ignite. Dark to light, we're stepping out tonight. They're losing grip, their shadows fade. Together we stand unafraid. Oh, power to the people. Oh, we'll never let it go. Stand firm, be strong, the words resound. All men are equal on sacred ground. MG show leads, MG music sings. The people's power spreads its wings.
That's right, guys.
Power to the people.
Power back to you.
Power to the people.
We rise. www.mg.show. Boom.